Alrighty guys, so today I'm going to be pulling the touchscreen radio at a Roxie 1 to put in Roxie 2 because Roxie 2 has a real basic radio and I would like to have a little bit better of a radio. So I believe it's just going to be a plug and play system, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. Only tools I should need for this is a ratchet with a 7mm socket and a screwdriver. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm here in the driver's seat. So the first thing you gotta do is take out this guy, and this guy. You can twist these things around, and eventually up here there's a little square tab, or not tab, a little square hole that will pop up. You get in there with the little screwdriver and you pull down on a little tab in there, and then you can rotate this counterclockwise and it'll pop right out. So that's what I'm going to get doing right here. Alright. So I kind of noticed that when you do this, instead of, you kind of want to get these things almost lined up where they're just completely horizontal, but then twist it 1 or 2 clicks like that. That seems to line it up pretty good with the piece in there. You just push down. Might not actually be on it. It's kind of a little bit of a guessing game, I'm not gonna lie. It's quite difficult. I've had to put on my headlamp and get down in there and look. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get that one last. I'm gonna move on to this one. These have been pulled before in my Jeep. Jeep was still under warranty, and unfortunately the radio went bad. So I ended up having to get Jeep to replace it for me. I also did get worried that the wreck actually broke stuff, and then I'm gonna have a hard time getting some of this stuff out. Not sure. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I got this one out. It was a little tough to get out. I'm not sure why exactly that was. It felt kind of almost sticky. You know, whenever I was driving, I had a slushy in my Jeep with me whenever the wreck happened, and I know that it spilled all over the place in here. So there's a lot of sticky parts all over the place. So I'm wondering if they got in there and caused it to get a little sticky, but let's see. Oh, you know, I think I just actually had it. That sucks. But I twisted it back into place. There we go. Sometimes you gotta stick your finger inside of it to rotate it. That seemed to have done the job for me there. So now that that's out, you can just push the window controls out, and then this is, I'm gonna have to bring the camera around to show you guys. So right in there, as you guys can see, that tab's gotta go up, and then after that I can push this piece right here, and this whole thing should pop right on out. Okay, so I got window control out. Here's the harness. So right here, 7mm nut, okay, or bolt actually, I'm sorry. Then there's another one right there that's got to go. I already pulled this piece of trim off that goes right here. It literally just goes in like so. You push it up, and then it just clips into place. It's pretty easy. So all you have to do is just pull that thing off, really. I mean, it's super easy to get that thing off, but let's take our 7mm here. I got a long socket. That would be a heck of a lot easier and faster if you had power tools to do this. Sometimes I like to just do things, you know, by hand, just because I'm always worried about something getting broken. Oh, let's see if I can get that out. Nope, almost lost that. Okay, got that one. There's one right there. And then there's one right here as well. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, how come you're getting the bolts over here on the steering wheel? And the reason being is because from here over, this is all one trim set. So it all comes out together. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling all that, these 7mm bolts out, and then I'm gonna remove the trim. All right. I got an extension because it's just making my life a little bit easier. Tell you what, it is super humid here in Kentucky today, and I'm struggling inside this black Jeep. Holy crap. One more. This one's kind of annoying. I got the steering wheel adjustment right where I'm trying to ratchet. All right, cool. So now that all that's taken apart, I'm just gonna start pulling. That's pretty much how it goes. You just start giving her some little tugs here. I'm sorry, you really got to bring the steering wheel all the way down in order to get this thing out properly. And voila. So now there's the radio itself. There's 4 7mm bolts that are all on the 4 corners. pretty self-explanatory. You just take all those off. Absolutely sucks dealing with all this because there is tons of glass from my windshield and from my door that is just literally everywhere in here. So I'm trying my best not to get my hands covered in glass. Sucks. Okay. 2 more. Once I get these off, there's little pieces that put tension on the radio when you slide it in. So slide it kind of like a back and forth motion until it comes out. Then there should be, I think, 2 antenna hookups, and then there should just be the single wiring harness that goes into it, and then get all that, and it should just pop right on out. So yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, I'll show you guys what I got. So these should be the antennas. Not sure what the heck that's for, or this, but here's the wiring harness and what have you. So I got this pulled out. I forgot to disconnect the battery, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. Okay, so the battery is disconnected, so I'm gonna start disconnecting some of these. Should all be fairly easy to disconnect majority of these. Oh. Sorry. All right, so that's what she looks like on the back side. So I'm thinking it should just be, for the most part, plug and play. Not 100% sure on all of that, but we're just gonna have to see. But yeah, so now I'm gonna essentially do this exact same process that I did in Roxie 1, but I'm gonna do it now in Roxie 2. So I'm gonna be taking the whole dash apart and what have you. Now, I will be coming back out here to take apart this entire piece of trim and whatnot, take this out, and I think, you know, I'm not 100% sure, but now that I'm looking at it, I think this whole dash piece is all the same, so I'm not sure. So the last thing I want to do, I already got this cut out, and this is where I had all my switches for like my air pump and some lights and stuff. I really don't want to have to recut that out on Roxie 2 and have a big old gaping hole. You know, I'd rather keep one of the trims, you know, intact or whatever. So I'm gonna look at taking this thing apart, you know, and I'm gonna say that it's probably all one giant piece. That sucks. Yeah, I'm looking at it, it's probably all interconnected all up in here and stuff and whatnot. So this might be separate. Yeah, that's separate. Well, it looks like I'm going to be taking apart a lot of the dash, so that sucks. Okay, so I'm over here in Roxie 2, so I'm going to start taking apart this whole dash piece and everything. It's pretty much the same process as the last piece that I did, so I'm really not going to cover too much of this. I might just let you guys watch, but like at a sped up pace or whatever. We'll just see when we get to that. Okay, so I did happen to run into a little dilemma. The bolt that sits right behind the window control was this little red guy here, and it actually switched the socket size down to 1/4 because I was having a problem getting 7mm to work. Tried 6mm, didn't work. It just needed to be slightly bigger, so 1/4 did it. Not sure why that is. I don't know if it's a big difference between a 2015 and a 2013. Not sure why that is, but it is what it is, right? Okay, update on why that bolt size changed. I noticed this guy. Looks like they had done some work up in here before. There's a little switch I found right here. When I tried to click on it, it ended up falling apart on me. I have absolutely no idea what that switch had gone to, so a little confused there, but I think they lost the bolt or damaged it in some way, shape, or form, so they switched over to this little red 1/4 size guy just to get that through. But I'm almost done getting this radio out, so we'll check back in a minute, see if everything will matches up and I can swap these radios out with little to no issues. Alrighty, so we have all but one plug. There's a plug right here, and it's almost like a micro USB plug, and I'm not seeing anything back here for that size plug or anything, so I'm not sure if it's important or prevalent or what that's for, but we'll see. I'm just gonna go ahead and plug in the rest of everything, see if we can get any of this to actually function, and if it does, we'll see maybe if not having that other piece is an issue or not. But so far so good. I'm gonna go replug in the battery real quick, and then I'm going to check and see if it's working or not. Okay, battery's plugged in. Let's see if this works. Sometimes it does take a second or two before the actual radio pops on. Okay, it's on. Security screen. I've never encountered that before, okay. I'm not sure if this is a number I go and put in or what. Okay, it did not take that. Enter security code, serial number, okay. I don't know if there's a way to get out of that or not. Let's see, radio now. So it's definitely asking me for some type of security code. I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. Okay, well that was quite the adventure. So essentially what happens is, you know, car thieves will come to steal radios. So they put this security code that you have to type in to get the radio running. So you actually have to have the VIN number of the vehicle, the serial number for the radio, as well as the part number needed to happen. And you actually have to call a dealership and they have to plug in all the numbers, and then they will generate a code. It's a 4-digit code that they give you so that you can get into your radio. So, and it looks... They even got all my music that I had downloaded on there, all on there already for me and everything. So pretty happy with this, guys. I'm really happy to have my Uconnect touchscreen radio here with all my music on it. It's a lot nicer than this guy, but you know, the cool thing with this is this still has the ability to have a Uconnect phone, and so I might be able to use this in a different vehicle for my brother or sister, something like that. So that'll be kind of cool as well. So we'll see. So now I'm just going to put everything back together at this point, and it should be pretty easy. I do want to investigate what this little switch is down here, because I'm not 100% sure what that switch was for or what have you. Like I said, it fell apart on me. It had, this fell out, so I'm not sure. You know, it does have some tape on it, and I think it actually says what it might be in there. Hold on. Let me see if I can reach in here, see what that says. It says wired to backup camera from switch power. Oh, well, that's news to me. I actually had absolutely no idea that I don't actually think this. Oh, okay. So I was wondering about this because I noticed this from the front end. Right here, you can kind of see that they have a cutout in this. They must have had installed a backup camera at some point. And I guess that must have been the power switch that they had set up to go to it. Because I didn't notice any backup. They must have took the backup camera with them to put in their new Jeep or something to that degree. Because I haven't seen any backup cameras on here and what have you. If I did have a backup camera, I would definitely want to have it hooked up to this. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. You know, putting this thing back together is literally just a reversal of what you did to get everything apart. So I'm just going to throw everything back together. Well, actually, before I do that, since I already have everything pretty much taken apart, I think what I'm going to do is see about taking apart this whole dash piece and everything to see if I can replace it so I don't have to Dremel out other spot for all of the switches that I have. So I'm just going to either A, do some research or see how much or how feasible it is to get all of that out, or if it's just not worth it in the long run. So, but yeah, that pretty much sums it up for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think of the video and this kind of tutorial and whatnot. Like I said, a lot of this is just going to be me taking things out of Roxie 1 to put into Roxie 2, you know, just some homey features like that. Like another thing I plan on doing is switching. I'm not a huge fan of these little rock shift knobs, so I'm thinking about going back to the factory ones that I had inside my Jeep, and you know, it's just a part of Roxie 1 that I can put in Roxie 2 that makes it feel a little bit more homey to me. However, I've had a hard time getting the transfer case knob off of Roxie 1, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm going to get everything thrown back together, figure some stuff out. So thanks for coming along, guys. Deuces, and y'all have a good one. So there I was thinking I was done with my install, but I actually wasn't done with my install. So I was just running some tests and whatnot on the radio to make sure everything was functioning correctly. So everything is functioning correctly except for the microphone. So I can make calls on the radio to people, but they can't hear me. And I also can't give the radio voice commands, right? Which is unfortunate because there's some things on the radio that you can't do without voice commands. So like if you wanted to pair another phone to the radio, you have to do all of that through voice command. You can't do it by pressing anything or whatever. So kind of inconvenient, but I sat there and did tons of research online trying to figure out what the issue was. So because this was an older, less quality radio, I guess is the term I guess you could use or whatever. So this radio right here does not, you can see it does come with the ability to have hands-free and everything, but the module and everything that's that it uses is external, it's not internal. Whereas the radio I just put in there is in fact a internal module. So I had to find the module and pull it out. So I thought maybe that was going to fix this issue, whatever, but it didn't. So after doing a lot of research, I ended up figuring out that essentially people who have done this exact same project in the past, what they ended up doing was they had to get it's a wiring harness with a new microphone. Essentially they just had to get a brand new microphone and whatnot. Why the microphone that is currently in does not hook up properly to the radio, I'm not 100% sure. There must be some type of disconnect or something where you have to have the module plugged in for the microphone to be plugged in or whatever. I'm not sure what the whole thing is or whatever, but for the most part, everybody that's done this project in the past has, you know, essentially said that you have to get this new wiring harness. So I'm going to leave a link in the description, or not a link, but I'm going to leave the part number. It's a mopar part number for this specific wiring harness that you can find online. I found it on eBay and I found it on extremeterrain.com. Extreme Terrain was a lot cheaper than the one on eBay was, so there's that. But yeah, so if you do a project like this and you're upgrading the radio to like a 730N radio like the one that I did, just keep in mind that you're probably going to have to get another microphone for it. So, but yeah, that concludes this install. I mean, minus me having to do all that work, but I'm going to be waiting on the package to come in the mail, so it's going to be some time before it ends up showing up. So I'm just not even going to worry about videoing it. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just take the current microphone cable, you just unplug that, leave it back there, and you just plug the new one in and just route it up wherever you're going to put the actual microphone at that point. I am hoping to be able to put the microphone right where the stock one usually is, so I was just gonna, you know, swap them out essentially. So but yeah, just keep that in mind, and that'll do it for the video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever.